Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Democracy 4. I am KRX, and we are continuing with episode 2 of this sort of in development look at Democracy 4. This is the first time I've ever played Democracy. We are playing as the Prime Minister of the UK, and we are going into the third quarter. We have about 4.5 more years to effectively improve the country. It looks like we have a animal testing dilemma coming up right now. We also have GDP is going down. Health, I think it should be coming up, but it might take a little bit. We want to work on all this stuff. We want to bring, there's so many things that we want to work on. That's the problem, right? We only have so much political capital. We can only get so much done per quarter. And we also only have so much money to solve these problems, right? Crazy. Of course, if you're just joining us for episode 2, we did, of course, that means that we've had an episode 1. The playlist link is down below, so make sure you're catching these in order. If you have any questions, guys, make sure to ask down in the comments, and I will definitely answer those. But let's just continue on as the Prime Minister of the UK. And for the most part, I don't know what the heck I'm doing because I haven't played. We have played about 10 hours of Democracy with the, well, maybe 6 to 7 hours of Democracy with the live streaming that we've done. So I have some experience with the game, but we're very much a new, inexperienced player just trying to go through. We've never played the UK before, so we're just going through, and it seems like we're off to a decent start, though. I'm liking some of the things we have going. I'm liking the fact that we're making a surplus right now. So ban animal testing. A proposal to ban all animal experiments has been placed before government by pressure groups. We currently have quite a few people working in industries that use animal testing, but it is also a highly unpopular practice. In this day and age, there is no good reason to test any products on animals, especially cosmetics. The practices used are often incredibly cruel, and a ban would have widespread public support and little real impact on the industry. No products only change. Products are only tested, or no change. Products are only tested on animals in order to ensure there is no chance of danger on humans. It is only done as a last resort under controlled conditions. If we impose a drastic ban, it will hit our cosmetic and pharmaceutical industries badly. Oof, this is actually kind of a tricky one, to be honest, because obviously we're doing scientific testing. I'm someone that is very much in support of more research and scientific research and stuff like that. And naturally, there is a lot of standards and stuff that laboratories do follow and stuff like that. But by and large, medical research does have a lot of testing on animals like mice and things like that. And there are certain animals that are basically allowed to be tested on, and there's a lot of regulation in terms of how those animals are treated and so on and so forth, even within that sphere, right? There is a discussion of ethics on that, but obviously a lot of that research is incredibly fundamental, and a lot of these animals that are raised for that are raised specifically for that testing and stuff like that. As well, they're not necessarily being plucked from wilderness ecosystems or anything like that. Here, it's like, okay, so for pharmaceuticals and cosmetics, these things probably don't need to be tested on animals, and certainly, and there's a lot of products that come out and they say, hey, you know, we're no animal testing, no animal cruelty, and it puts it on the label, and that's part of what the libertarian would argue, right? So presumably the libertarians do not want us to change. The liberals do not want us to have a ban on this, right? Because fundamentally, it should be up to the market to decide, or just people to decide whether or not they'll reject these products that are tested on animals or not. The interesting thing is, I think by and large, it makes sense that, you know, maybe these things don't have to be tested on animals, and therefore maybe a ban wouldn't be the end of the world and we could ban it. And maybe that would be a better society. Maybe that would be the future, and maybe that would be a better, more utopia looking on sort of the way that we should move. But GDP is incredibly important. We don't want to hurt our cosmetic and pharmaceutical industries. And assuming these industries have standards on how they're allowed to, maybe that's the thing. And see, that'd be nice if there was more options here where it was like, allow it, but impose additional standards or something like that, right? Something like that in terms of which animals can be tested and the upbringing of these animals and so on, and the sourcing of these animals and stuff like that. But I think actually, we're going to do no change. We have a lot of capitalists in our society. I think our liberals should also support no change based on that sort of idea of just sort of more liberties and freedoms for companies and individuals. And except for it's actually bringing the liberals down. I think that's just because of liberals also, of course, have strong sort of like rights, like animal rights, right? I think is the framework that this is looking from is it's just like humans have rights, and those rights should be protected animals deserve rights too. So the liberals, but they're not as affected as much by the environmentalists. In this case, the GDP went up by 1%. Our compassion has gone down because people don't like the idea of testing on animals, but of course, they don't necessarily. To some degree, some people will choose to buy products that avoid that, and some people won't. But in this case, 1% on the GDP. I mean, I don't know. That's 1% of GDPs. That's how many billions of pounds is that? You know. So, anyways, a couple billion pounds. Okay, we're back. We got 15 political capital. Seems like some of our cabinet's already upset with us, to be honest. What the heck? Why are these guys upset with us? What the heck happened? Bring the uncompetitive economy. I want to look into these import tariffs here. Is that part of foreign policy? Yeah. This is going to cost us, it says, introduction is 13 political capital. Very expensive, but it brings down the uncompetitive. Capitalists will actually like this. Cheap imports can be damaging to the economy because local companies cannot match the lower salaries paid by foreign competitors. Import tariffs help protect local manufacturers from unfair competition. This goes against the free market economics, though, and can be seen as being unfair to foreign countries, possibly sparking retaliation. But it's saying the capitalists actually like this. Why exactly does that seem... Well, they like it if we enact it, but then we do none. Oh. So they like having the policy of having, like, enacting the idea of import tariffs, but then specifically setting it to none. Okay, I see what's going on here. They don't like having a huge amount. Oh, they like having some. They like having some. They understand the idea of protecting local economies, but they don't want to max it out like this. The Patriots will actually like this. I don't know. Do we have many Patriots? We have to look and see. We have very few of our citizens consider themselves to be Patriots. We could just raise this a little bit. Capitalists will like us a little bit more. So we could enact this and just keep this in the medium. It still brings down the uncompetitive economy. The capitalists get a little bit of a boost from it. Brings down unemployment as we're promoting. There's more incentive for manufacturing within our own country, right? So it's bringing down unemployment. We gotta produce more within our country. There's more economic margins to have successful manufacturing within the country now because of these additional tariffs. I think we do this. We get a little bit of a boost with the capitalists. Foreign relations and international trade will go down, but not as much as it could. And we bring down that uncompetitive economy. That's going to be a big one. That uncompetitive economy is like, oof, we need to bring that down. Bring it down. That's a huge modifier to pull that down. That should make a big difference on the uncompetitive economy. It'll take time for that to get enacted in, though. Right now, that's hurting our GDP, right? If we could get rid of this, our GDP could boom. The capitalists would also like us, too, if we got rid of that, which is a huge major group in our society here. We only have 2 political capital. That's basically all we can do. We could check on these to see if they're going up or down. Food Standards Agency. Plant-based diets goes up. Food prices go up. Obesity goes down. Farmers. This is relatively cheap. How many people consider us to be farmers in our country? I bet you the UK imports a lot of food. Yeah, farmers very low. Very minuscule amount of our population is farmers and patriots. Not farmer patriots, but farmers and patriots. We could have a capitalist patriot, or we could have a liberal farmer, or whatever, right? Very few of the countries even considered to be retired or religious. Not too many environmentalists, actually, in the country. Capitalists, it seems like we've made some gains with them. They seem to be appealing us a little bit more. Liberals are a little bit more upset with us. Our popularity has tanked, but luckily we still have about 4 years to help and improve that. The poor really like us, though, which is nice. I don't know why the overall popularity is so terrible, but there you go. That's just how it is. We have no political capitalists. Let's go on to the next turn here. Hey, national team wins the World Cup. Holy cow, let's go. Everybody's going to be just super happy. Patriots are going to like that too. We don't have too many Patriots. See, that would be very different if we were playing the United States. We'd probably have a much larger chunk of Patriots. And that would just mean that different policies and stuff would have a different sort of popularity, a different evaluation in terms of popularity, playing these different countries that have different sort of breakdowns of these different demographics. I think people can kind of understand how these different sort of demographics would shift with the different countries and how that would affect the different kind of policies that you need to enact. Plus, the fact these different crises would be based on the different setups of the country and stuff like that. And oh yeah, this is going to start coming down. This is going to start coming down. Hopefully we can get rid of that uncompetitive economy. Other ways to do that would be to boost productivity. We could bring down, I mean, to be fair, we could bring down corporate taxes. We could bring down the payroll taxes. We could bring down the minimum wage. Like, we could bring it down. We have no minimum wage, right? But obviously, this is obviously the minimum wage does a lot for equality and the poor and so on and so forth. So in reducing poverty, having a minimum wage and having it set to a certain value. We could look to enact, again, you can kind of like go in here and you can adjust some of the things here, or we can we could increase petrol tax. We don't have enough political capital for this. This would make motorists unhappy. We don't have that many motorists. This would actually, environmentalists would like us more, but we don't have too many of those. GDP would come down. Of course, this would actually just directly increase income, but it actually wouldn't increase income that much because we have so few. So we don't have a lot of oil usage in our country, honestly, it seems. So we could raise some of these taxes. Ooh, man. I mean, we could raise the sales tax by 8%, give us 10 billion pounds of additional income, and we could have that fund the healthcare services. We could have that fund healthcare services, which has a dramatic effect on obesity, hospital overcrowding, doctor strikes. I don't know. Wait a second, how are we back to a 4 billion pound deficit? Is it because GDP went down? It could be because GDP went down. Oh no. Kind of just seeing where can we maybe, we have a payroll tax here. This would decrease GDP a little bit, which means our total income would then sort of suffer in the long term a little bit, but this would probably still be an increase if we can raise it this high. So, I don't know. This is kind of tricky, right? This is kind of tricky. We could try to raise taxes to increase income, or we could try to increase income in other ways, but we could initiate new taxes. Let's see if there's any like new taxation that we can do. We could do an automation tax. That would certainly bring down technology. A bunch of things. I don't think we want to discourage automation. That is kind of the future. I think we want to do other things like future-proof taxes. A junk food tax. Youth won't like it. We don't have that much youth. Everybody's income would go down. This would give us a billion pounds almost. But this would bring down obesity quite a bit. Poverty would go up a little bit, unfortunately. Plant-based diets would go up and health would go up quite a bit. I think that's kind of an easy thing to do. What else do we have here? Recreational drug tax. So we could actually look at enabling recreational drugs and tax it, right? And like legalize it and tax it. So it's just completely outlawed. Holy cow, we don't even have medical cannabis here. This would be a lot of political capital to bring this up. But I think we might want to do this. What is our maximum political capital? It doesn't show. See, I think there's little UI bugs with the development build right now, but hopefully that'll get improved. Press freedom. I think we want more press freedom. Democracy goes up, corruption goes down significantly. Liberals like it. Liberalism goes up. I think we want maximum press freedom. But before we do that, I just want to see, are we still, this is tanking. This is tanking. We could look for military spending and see a light defense. We could bring that down. That would save us billions of pounds. Patriots would not like this. Unemployment would go down a little bit. State employments, I believe this is actually tying into like state pensions and stuff like that, right? This does help with technology, right? This is investing in the military is a way to help with technology, but we're not investing enough. I'm thinking actually bringing down would hurt unemployment quite a bit, but I think bringing down the military budget could actually be at least one notch. Could save us billions of pounds that we could reinvest into healthcare. That seems, I don't know, that seems like it would make sense to me. There could be other crises that could happen. Like, I don't know if the country could sort of be in a war state or something like that, or be attacked, or aggressive actions could be taken against us if we do that. There's got to be crises that can happen with a defunded military, I'm sure, based on other considerations and other metrics and stuff. I think we save this political capital and we just go to the next phase, or we try to leverage like a larger chunk of political capital, unless we could find something very specific here. Plastic bag tax, capitalists won't like this, environmentalists will. There's not a lot of potential income from that. Microgeneration grants, so this is like giving people the ability to get grants for adding solar panels and stuff to their homes. This would cost us up to $1 billion, but that could be kind of good. I presume this would help with the environmentalists and reduce CO2 emissions and stuff like this. Our environment's actually doing pretty well right now. Hybrid car initiatives. So some of these aren't this is just tax related stuff. Some of this is actually a CO2 tax. This would bring down GDP though. Oh, we could look at a GDP and go to like technology or innovation or productivity, technology, stem cell research, or science funding. This can get very expensive quickly, but man, is this good. Brings down unemployment a bit too. Oof, that's good. But it gets expensive. That technology GDP increases. Technology then increases GDP even more. Energy efficiency. Oof. I like that. I like that. 3 billion, huh? I think we do this. We max that out. We go to the next date, and then we bring down the military to pay for it. But, I mean, we're still not quite getting around to the... poverty's going up. Whoa, poverty's going up. The heck? Corporate manslaughter bill. A new bill is proposed that will allow a corporate entity to be prosecuted for manslaughter when they've been found guilty of negligence resulting in loss of life. Pass the bill. This law is necessary to deter companies from cutting corners when it comes to safety of their employees and members of the public. Too many people die every year in industrial accidents, and often there are no lessons learned or blame appointed. The law will be a step forward for corporate responsibility. The interesting thing is, like, I mean, yeah, if there's like guilty of, if they're found guilty of negligence, I mean, like, obviously they should be, like, if there's proof of negligence, then that's not good. Block the law. Basically, you just sort of take a pro corporate stance there. No, I think we're going to pass this law. If corporations are people, ha ha ha, then presumably they can be held responsible for stuff like this, right? Capitalists don't like it, but the liberals do. The capitalists and liberals are kind of like two really good groups of people. Trade unionists also like this and stuff like that. Might have other consequences in the future. Major donor abandons the party. Holy cow. Strong leader minus 20%. That's not good. Yeah, we're just, no one's even, it's just absolutely decimating our metrics there. I think we enact this. Wait, what? It say we're making 15 billion surplus. What happened? Wait, did we not get the technology grant in? I thought we'd raise that to the max. Why are we making 14 billion pounds? I thought we were at a deficit, and then we raised this. That would have put us in more of a deficit. I guess the economy must be coming up. No, it's going down. Wait, what? Uncompetitive economy is going down too, which is good, and the import tariffs are still kicking in. But like GDP is going down. That's not good. That's not good. Are some of these other things tanking though? Okay, it looks like organized crime is coming down. And what can we do to no stakes? Yeah, liberals aren't gonna. It also increases GDP. But organized crime, presumably this is just bad, right? Because then it ties into other crime and stuff like that. And if we didn't have an organized crime issue, I'm wondering if this will kind of just go away on its own, but I don't know. This is barely getting scratched, even with all these different things that we've enacted. Respiratory disease is going down. That's good. I think some of these things are just taking too long to kick in, right? Like it's taking, this is the number of turns, the inertia in this effect. So the underlying value change, this shows how many turns it will take before the effect has been fully felt. So it's going to take a lot of time for that to kick in. It's going to take a lot of time for some of these things. Some of these things have kicked in though. Unemployment's causing it to go up. Car usage. So we have issues with, we could actually try to do cycling campaigns and stuff like that as well. How much would that cost us? Keep the country tidy? It's cheap. It's very, very cheap. Some of this stuff is just, it's just so cheap. Cyberbullying awareness campaign. Parents like it, youth likes it. That could be good to do. Free parenting classes. Could be good. Where's like a cycling transportation? Bicycle subsidies. A cycling campaign is even cheaper. It does reduce car usage, rail usage, bus usage, and obesity. It's rather cheap. So I think we could do that. And then let's go to bike subsidies here. Carpooling campaign. These are really cheap and they get rid of car usage. I mean, that could be really good. Telecommuting initiative, all these things could be very good. Let's do more bicycling. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we've spent our political capital. Time to go to the next one. Guys, I think actually here's another good point for a break. We've played through about the first year, right? We've played through about the first year of our... we have 16 turns till the next election. It looks like the popularity is slowly coming back up, but man, the capitalists really don't like us. I mean, heck, if we have this much of a surplus, we could reduce taxes. We could find some of these taxes that seem to be oppressive and maybe really negatively affecting some of these things, and we could actually try to bring these things down. Like, honestly, the sales tax, I don't know, we'll have to see. We could see which some of these taxes, if they're bad taxes, and we could maybe try to bring them down or whatever to help. Like sales tax actually is kind of like hurts the equality, right? Because this affects poor people more negatively than like a progressive sort of income tax and stuff, right? Anyways, let's go to the next one. Thanks everybody for watching though. I really appreciate if you guys have questions, comment down below, but I'm enjoying this run as the UK. I mean, we're making money. That's good. We're making money, but the GDP is going down, so our surplus is going to be short-lived. We'll have to see how that works. I mean, maybe we invest this money into the public health, increasing public health services. Maybe we continue to increase in research efforts, and hopefully that ties into GDP in long term. I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on here. We're still worried about our health situation, and we're worried about our GDP, and we're still kind of working on that. And then the last few years, we could just try to make everybody happy. I don't know. So thanks everybody for hanging out, for this this Democracy 4 that's still in the development. And we'll be back in the next episode with more of Prime Minister of the UK.